one. Hello, Internet, and welcome. Apologies for the slight delay. Hello, hi. We are the Explorers of Elsewhere. I am DM Dan. Oh, we have a feedback. We have an echo. Is that me? No, it's not me. Hi, I'm DM Dan, and I'm joined by 5 beautiful creatures known as explorers. We have directly beneath me Livy. Hello.
Hello.
We have Theo directly beneath Livy.
Hello.
We have Nate over the way. That way. Hello, Nate.
Hello. Sorry, I'm actually listening to see if we're coming through. We are coming through.
We are. Good. Perfect.
So we won.
We have Georgia beneath Nate. Hello.
Hello.
And we have Tim down in the corner there. Hello.
Word.
And hello, and thank you for joining us for the sophomore episode of Explorers of Elsewhere, the Titan Isles, our third actual play campaign, this time brought to you in full Technicolor liveness directly on YouTube and Twitch. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out of your very busy lives to watch us make up stories and hopefully make you feel some feels. This is the second episode. We had a bit of a rip-roarer last week. So thank you for all of the support and all of the happy words that have been said since last Monday. We've had a bit of a surge, and I'm forever grateful for all the people that are kind of showing us their support. Because we've had a bit of a surge, there's a couple of updates I want to do before we kick things off proper. First and foremost, as it is the 2nd of June, happy Pride Month. We at the channel, I've always wanted Explorers of Elsewhere to be a very inclusive space to tell all the stories that we want to tell, we should be telling. So throughout the month of May, we've decided that we're showing our flags. We're literally showing our flags here.
And to be super inclusive, we've allowed a straight person.
Yeah.
I'm the token.
Precisely, yeah. We've seen through my ruse. Yes, if you yourself are in sort of like the LGBT plus community, we want to make sure that you know that you are seen, we support you. Sometimes it might not feel like it, but there are just countless other people with the same sort of worldviews and everything that makes you unique and special. We're here to celebrate it. So yes, for the month of June, we're going to be celebrating Pride by proudly displaying our colours. Yes, as I say, thank you for supporting. Over the past kind of week, we've had a massive boom. To punctuate the boom, we now officially have memberships on YouTube, and soon we will have a Patreon that we're going to be setting up. So, Steve, thank you for becoming our first member. We've kind of figured out what we're going to do for members, in so much as we had loads and loads of ideas, and then it got to the point where we were like, I can't do all of this. So we were sort of paring it all back and figuring out what was sort of proportionate, what would allow for a much more kind of intimate and personal experience for anyone that wants to spend real life money on us. So yeah, a huge keep your eyes open for updates on that. I'm most likely going to do a separate update video just to kind of highlight what we're going to do for sort of various tiers here on YouTube and over on Patreon. But I know, for example, there's going to be a Discord involved, and that's going to largely be a bit of an arena where sort of membership content and the will be hosted initially, at the very least. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Also, as you might have seen from the scroller down in the bottom middle of the screen, like when we started the campaign, we were approached by Demiplane and Drive-Thru RPG, and they were gracious enough to offer us loads of stuff, like free rules for us, and then some sort of like giveaways for 5 viewers, which we turned into our Community Creates NPC challenge. And like that's been enough of a success that we are now officially Drive-Thru RPG affiliates. We are obviously playing Daggerheart for you tonight, but across all of the different games that we play here on Explorers of Elsewhere, I've gone through the back catalogue. I stopped counting at 13, but there are at least 13 different games that we've played, not counting the one-page RPGs, that are all available in digital rules format on places like Drive-Thru RPG, and that umbrella also includes like Drive-Thru Fiction and all of that sort of like that massive umbrella. If you would like to play the games that we are playing, if you're interested, you can find our affiliate link now in the description. And if you use that, we will get a bit of a kickback. So it's no extra cost for you, but it'll be a massive help for us. And then you can learn the rules and point out our mistakes to us. That'd be ideal.
That'd be great.
It'd be great. And last but not least for these announcements before we go to intro, we have been nominated as finalists for one of the Crit Awards of 2025. So Crit Awards is a TTRPG community celebration. It started in 2023. So this will be the third time round. We've been nominated for Best GM, Darrington Press, primarily for our Tales from Elsewhere stream that we played prior to this one. But 4 of the 5 players from that stream are currently present. So basically, it's the same thing. Same group.
Well, I say you say we've been nominated.
Don't take
Technically,
you've been nominated.
But
Nothing to do with that.
That is massively well done.
We are all that we attach ourselves to you.
Like
the royal
little parasite.
Yes.
In all honesty, I say we because yes, it's got my name on it, but realistically, we wouldn't have accomplished what we've accomplished without like all of you 5 and everyone else that's been playing on the channel, and also you, the viewers who've been watching and supporting. So like I'm incredibly humbled. With there are 3 other finalists in the category, and they're some of the big time, like they're the big time Daggerheart players. So it was quite amazing to sort of like see our name, see Explorers of Elsewhere kind of rubbing shoulders with their channel names as well. But yeah, links to the voting, because voting is now open. You have until like the end of June for voting, but that's down in the description as well. Right, I have yammered for a fair old while. Shall we jump in?
Yeah. Let's dagger some hearts.
Hello, I'm Nate, and I'll be playing Griffin, a Sanguivar bard.
Hi, I'm Livy, and I'm playing Abe, the Guardian Keeper.
Hello, my name is Theo, and I'll be playing Cooper, a Dragon Scent Rogue.
Hi, my name is Georgia, and I'll be playing Cassandra, an Asavar Sorcerer.
Hi, I'm Tim, and I'm playing Gardy, Majani Druid.
And my name is DM Dan, the Games Master in this adventure. Dawlishal prides itself on its reputation, fast becoming one of the favoured tourism spots in the rediscovered world. Connected directly to the capital of Avamore via the portals of the concourse, anyone with a bit of spare coin can visit the sunny beaches, browse the exotic markets, and test their luck at the various gambling dens. Despite being home to two radically different cultures and people, being the expeditioneers and the pirates, Dawlishal still maintains its curious small-town atmosphere amongst the locals. Everyone seems to know everyone, for better or worse. Everyone gets stuck in to help each other, for better or worse. And when something unusual happens in Dawlishal, news is quick to spread through hush whispers and fanciful gossip, for better or worse. No wonder the townsfolk are busy chattering and speculating about the state of the Titan Isles, the nature of the storm, the cause of it, the meaning of it. But perhaps the effects of what is happening on the mainland is closer to home than the people of Dawlishal realize. And so, we find the five of you in the Bountiful Parlay, one of the back rooms of the Bountiful Parlay. There is, in this dark and gloomy room illuminated by candles in wall sconces, there is the stench of ozone that sits alongside the sound of heavy breathing as the five of you look upon the prone form of a Majani pirate with a neat hole through his chest. The sound of a slow clap is still slightly echoing between the bare stone walls, as the large, imposing figure of Boss Ungriner looms over you. The sound of his deep baritone voice in your minds as he and Cassandra shake hands. "We have a deal, then," he says as he shakes your hand.
We do. As long
Very
as you
good.
promise that you'll get us to the island, no matter what.
He nods. As he does, he sort of like he releases your hand, Cassandra, and he puts an arm around your shoulder, and he like makes a point of stepping over the body of his Majani crewman, and he kind of gestures to the other four of you with a relatively kind of dismissive, almost like hand sweep. "Come, we have business to discuss," he says. And as he goes to leave through the door you came in, with his arm still around you, Cassandra, and he's almost like bear pulling you along by the shoulders, he stops and turns to the two surviving pirates in the room and says, "Clean this up." And then he strides out into the halls of the Bountiful Parlay with you, Cassandra. How does, in a few words, how does Griffin feel about what's just transpired?
What do you mean in a few words?
Yeah.
I think he's definitely shocked about how quickly that escalated. So yeah, he is. Yeah. He is kind of. He's standing next to Cooper, and sort of like he's actually sort of grabbed his arm a bit, just kind of go, "Oh!" And he's a little bit shocked about how quickly a gun was just pulled out and just murder just happened.
Sure.
I think Cooper's still on the floor because he got chucked. And then I think Griffin came over towards him. So I feel like Griffin has just like grabbed his hand. So like Cooper's still on the floor is what I'm imagining.
Your hand's up here and I'm just grasping your hand like this.
Well, Cooper, we know that you've like perhaps the Cassandra that was in front of you a moment ago is like a wildly different Cassandra to who you might have known in the past. But Gardy, is this a Cassandra that you knew, or is this a surprise?
Good question, George. Do you reckon I've had a chance to see you snuff out the delicate wisp of a man's life before?
I think the murders have been to a minimum since we've been working together. That's definitely an escalation. I think you've probably seen that she's been very determined to get this particular job and very determined to get where you are currently, just not to the extent of murder. I think this is definitely a step up from what you're accustomed to.
I think he's gonna have a quick look at the body, double check that there's nothing he can do at this point, and then just kind of chalk it up in the list of things to try and forget about later.
Sure. And Abe, how are you feeling?
I think Abe is less bothered about the dead man, more bothered about owing something to a pirate overlord. I think that's more of his concern, is a deal has been struck and he's not particularly comfortable with owing anyone anything.
Sure. Well, the four of you who are still in the back room, like, you notice the two surviving pirates, like, they kind of glance at each other, and perhaps worryingly, the looks on their faces, like, whilst shocked, also have a tinge of not again. Like, they're clearly shocked because something's happened, but this almost has a bit of a 0 days since last incident.
Has happened. Yeah.
But as the two of them usher the four of you out back into the parlor, sorry, and as you step out into the tavern space, as the four of you step out, you see that Boss Ungriner has, arguably by presence alone, has just kind of cleared a round table in a commanding spot of the drinking hall. And Cass, where are you sitting? Are you sitting directly next to Boss Ungriner on this round table, or are you kind of sat opposite?
I feel like she sat directly opposite him, kind of like leaning against the table. I think if you looked closely at her, you'd see that she also looks quite shocked. She's got the guns next to her on the table, and her hands are shaking just a little bit. She's hiding them as she crosses them, and she's trying very hard to meet his eye.
Okay. So he, as the rest of you kind of take seats around this table, you see him sort of like as you're sitting, he's kind of gesturing and like demanding some drinks for the table, almost wordlessly. He's just very stern eye contact and quick hand flicks, and before long, you are all outfitted with drinks, and you watch as this bear of a man sort of like lifts the tankard up and just plows through the whole sort of like tankard's worth of mead in one go, and then as he slams it on the table, he wipes his bearded mouth with the back of his hand and lets out a small but very indelicate belch. And then he grins as he looks
Ironic.
to you.
I didn't think he could.
Even with my lungs.
Well, you notice as he's sort of like chugging, like you can see just about bits of a flesh-coloured chin underneath the thick, dense black beard that he's got. But so it does not seem, in fact, that his jaw is made of iron, unfortunately. But yeah, the grin, like when I say grin, it's a very much a hyena's, like a jackal's grin. A grin of opportunity rather than happiness, perhaps. Regardless of what Balroon and the others would say, we pirates are the driving force in Dawlishal. It is through our efforts that people flood to her streets and part with their ill-gotten coin. It is through our efforts that Dawlishal is the place that people want to come to. It is through our efforts that Dawlishal is on the map. And regardless of what she says, Mayor Balroon knows this. This is why we are able to impose and he's sort of like, his fingers kind of grasp at the air, almost like he's swilling an invisible glass of rich wine. Impose a tithe on the businesses that operate here in Dawlishal. Consider it what you will. Protection, tax, obligation. But the businesses that see sense all pay their tithe to us. One of my men, by the name of Mad Karayan, was tasked with accumulating this month's wealth from the businesses. But he's not returned. Now, there's very few places a pirate without a ship can flee to when stuck on an island such as this. We believe he's in the town, but none of my other crew have seen hair nor hide of him. He will likely be on the lookout for us if he is in fact decided to abandon his post. So this is where you and your unfamiliar faces come in. We want you to turn this town upside down whilst you look for Mad Karayan. And when you find him, you bring him to me so he can explain in ever so delicate terms why he is dallying in his duty. Once we have secured our tithe, then we will allow you passage on our ships to sail to the mainland. A storm like this bothers us not.
Gadi puts his hand up.
Boss Ungriner slowly turns his head to you, and like, it seems like with every degree that his head turns, like the scowl becomes more entrenched beneath his beard. Yes, boy.
Mr. Captain, I appreciate your offer, but I just wanted to check. If we're bringing someone back for you, could you also perhaps bring us back from the island so we don't end up there trapped forever and devoured? Please.
Boss Ungriner he doesn't like he does. This man doesn't blink, is what you've acknowledged in your short time with him. So he just stares at you.
I'll just passively continue staring at him as well.
Assert dominance, Gaddy. You could do it.
Who's the alpha? Gaddy's the alpha. Gaddy don't rhyme with daddy for nothing.
Yeah, boss, I'm gonna just like stares at you, and then like it's a quiet response, but like the reverberance of his voice carries it to your ears clearly as he says, "That will depend on your attitude between now and then."
Oh, well. Capital.
Just how long do you expect this to take?
The town is not large, which is true. You all know that the town of Dawlishal is about 4/5 of a square mile total, and that includes like the beaches, the like the greens and whatnot. Like there is certainly not a whole lot to. There are only so many hidey holes.
Mm-hmm.
That said, Abe, as a resident of the mound, like the other 98% of this island that's kind of jutting out of the water, if this pirate has gone to ground up in the hills, then it could take a little while to find. But it's also quite, like you also know, there are relatively few sort of like caves or places of shelter on the mound, being what was once the peak of a mountaintop, now dunked into the like poking out of the surface of the water of the ocean. So, like if he like hiding out in the mountain, like hiding out on the mound is unwise for a long-term plan without some sort of shelter like yours, your little shack hut.
Better not be in my shed.
But yes, you would know that to sort of like, well, the town itself is small. Who I suppose Cooper, you know that like the people of Dawlishal are so kind of interlinked with one another that this already small town is that much smaller still. As word of mouth travels at astonishing speeds, and like your relationships as a syndicate rogue, you've already kind of got to grips with the fact that you just have to speak to a few people, and then suddenly, like doors start opening, walls start falling, kind of thing.
When you say he's mad, how mad are we talking?
He Boss Ungrina turns his attention to you, Abe. Not as mad as he used to be, and not as mad as I will be if you do not find him quickly.
I have a question, actually, Garth. What stopped him from just walking through the portal and leaving the island? Like, if he's left and we can't find him because he's not here, does that? What are you?
So as you ask this, like the bar waiter has just kind of placed down Boss Ungrina's second flagon, and like as you mentioned the words like go through the portal to Avermore, the two of them look to you, like even the bar server like looks at you, and perhaps for the first time you see Boss look a bit not uncomfortable, but this is the first time you've seen what appears to be like a credible challenge to his authority. My crew and I are not welcome in Avamore. We have agreements with the Council of Dawlishal, and we operate within our boundaries are bound only by the sea. But Avamore is not part of Dawlishal, and if Mad Karayan were to have gone through the portal, he will have got. He wouldn't have made it out of the concourse before those vigilant portal mages stopped him.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you very much. Can I?
I mean, you don't
Can
know.
I just check?
He might have sold you out. Just saying. He might have sold you out.
No, Griffin, you don't understand, my friend. The pirates here are amazing community people. Like, they know what they're doing. Everyone knows what they're doing. It makes sense for everyone to operate respectfully here. You know, he wouldn't be selling anything out. It would be more damaging to a missing friend to do so. I'm right, aren't I, Guff? Wouldn't you say?
Boss Ungriner, just tilts his head back slightly, and then it's the slowest slow nod, singular nod you've ever seen. But he does deign to respond to you directly, Griffin. There's no one to sell us out to, he says. The boss chugs the second flagon and, well, you have your task. I would advise, if you're quick, you should be done by nightfall.
A quick question, just a quick one. If that's all right. Just a quick question, Mr. Boss.
Yeah, the boss looks to you.
What does he look like?
Mad, isn't he?
No, is he? Yeah, but is he mad? Is he mad or is he mad
The description, the boss gives you. Boss gives you perhaps one of the least useful responses as he says, "He looks like someone avoiding my wrath."
Right. Excellent. I'm sure that won't be difficult to find.
The boss nods and he nods. He looks like there's a pensive wait as if in case he might say something to you, but then he doesn't. He just gets up and leaves. And disappears back into that back room. He gets up, goes to return to the back room, and as he does, you watch the two other pirates who were in there, dragging this large sack out of the room. And boss just stops to let them pass, and then he returns to what you presume is his almost throne room, I guess, to wait for the next poor sucker to gain his attention. And the five of you are left in the Bountiful Parlour. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, that description was as good as an hole with a bucket with an hole in, wasn't it? I mean, what we just looking for? Surely everyone wants to avoid him. Jesus, who would want us to be spending time with him? He didn't even have a metal jaw. Looked like he had two glass eyes, though. The way he was staring at you, Gaddy.
I've met men like him before. Small little kings of their small little kingdoms. He'll get over himself.
He's the only one that's got a boat that can get us off this island.
I got a boat.
Oh, I will do what he wants for now.
Well, we got any ideas where it would be to?
So,
just someone.
I could ask
as
her.
you, well,
Mhm.
as Abe asks that question, allow me to switch us.
Ooh,
So the map.
Oh,
So we've got a map. We've got a map of Dawlishal. So we'll zoom in. So currently, the 5 of you are all crammed into the Bountiful Parlay, alongside. Oh, let's do that. So the 5 of you are crammed into the Bountiful Parlay. The boss Ungriner. So this chap here is here, and from across the way, across the drinking hall, well, from the gambling area on the other side of the parlay, Cooper, you spy the purple ponytail of Elismira, the Asavari sort of like contactee that you've gotten to know who brought you here in the first place. And like she's looking over with her eyebrows raised, as if to be like, as if she, wordlessly asking across the room how it went. You've emerged in one piece, so that's better than some who have very recently emerged from that room. So
like that chap in the bag.
the chap in the bag.
That
Yes.
very non-suspicious looking bag.
Yes. Perhaps for better or worse, you've just watched everyone pay absolutely no mind to the blatant body in a bag dragged through this tavern.
Classic Thursday, am I right?
Yes, and sort of like just moved out into the back areas. But yes, you have Elismira here. But if I scroll out, I've put a couple of place names. I've put some tokens to show you who's where. But yeah, realistically, the town is your oyster for where you want to go and investigate.
Perhaps
So-
if we could
What's the first step?
have a wee little sit down and finish our drinks before we go, in some sort of short rest.
What if you? Oh, I guess if you view something in the, yeah.
Yes. We're more than happy. Well, you can short rest. I will. Given that even though he's not in your immediate presence, you can't help but feel the overbearing weight of Boss Ungriner. So, what you can absolutely short rest, but I will reward myself D4 fear if you short rest, as his patience is tested.
We don't have to short rest in the pub. We can short rest
Go sit on
outside
the
the
steps
pub.
outside.
We could be like, "Oh, we're off to go find the man," and then just go to the pub over the
Yeah, go
road.
to the beer garden.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if others do want to short rest, I would like to do something in the Bountiful Parlay. So while people are short resting, I can do that to not have a short rest myself.
I'm not doing that badly though, so I'm perfectly happy to go without if we'd rather.
Well, what's Nate thinking?
Well, Griffin's kind of getting the feeling that to get probably an idea of, because we just don't know what this person looks like. We don't know how mad he is. So I would like to do kind of two things if I can, Dan, and they sort of coincide with each other. To gain sort of like probably a little bit of like camaraderie with the rest of the pirates, I would like to play a song.
Okay.
But also with that song, I would like to use my troubadour subclass, and as a gifted performer, perform a heartbreaking song, so all of my allies in close range and myself can gain one hope.
Okay.
A heartbreaking song.
A heartbreaking song.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be, a heartbreaking song can be something that can also lift your spirits, I guess. But that's what it says.
You've just encountered a divorced couple, and you immediately decide to burst into a heartbreak song.
I mean, Nate's right. It could be a different type of heartbreaking. Like he gets up on table and then pulls out his little accordion and do 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 do.
It's heartbreaking.
It breaks
for
the hearts of
everyone
many
involved.
But
So-
no, you absolutely can do that
Um,
if you so wish.
Yes, that should come up.
I
In the
mean-
chat. There we go. And then sort of so that's just for us to play the heartbreaking song. But the heartbreaking song, I'd like to, if I could do like a presence roll, means so whether or not we gain any sort of favor or gain any sort of like pirates that are actually like, oh, these guys are all right actually.
I love this song. That's my favourite song. That is. I love Careless Whisper.
Sure. Sure. I will ask for the presence roll, if only because you've got to grab the attention of a tavern's worth of rowdy pirates.
Cool. So remember, everyone, you still get one hope.
Never happens. We get a hope. Crits.
Crits.
The best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Lane is right. Griffin has just ripped out Wonderwall.
A pirate's favourite song.
Amazing. A crit. Okay, so you clear a stress if you had it, which I don't think you do, but no. You gain a hope. Then everyone gains a hope. And so sorry, what was the idea of the song?
So the
Like
idea
the performance.
So the idea of the performance is, so I also wanted to mention that sort of Griffin plays songs based on stories that he's heard around elsewhere. So sort of about his travels, he will he will sing stories that he's written himself about stories that he's heard sort of around and about on his travels. So let's say he's pulled a song out about sailors who have been deceived by their captain and mutinied against him, and did much fairer of themselves for pushing their captain over the boat. And
Of course, Andre is gonna love it.
Well, it's going more against sort of like something like the Navy and actually saying like actually being a pirate is much better.
Sure.
So it's to sort of like get the pirates' trust in a way, so that they may actually tell us a little bit more about Mad and where he might have gone to.
Okay. As you play, there is this notable kind of quiet that descends over the Bountiful Parlay as you kind of spin this tale, but perhaps with that Griffin flair that catches the attentions of all of the gathered patrons. Maybe it is, or maybe it isn't odd, Griffin, as you look and see these, like these muscled, tattooed pirates, just like dabbing fingers at eyelids as you kind of play through this song, this sort of like ballad, and sort of like solemnly taking their glasses and sort of like saluting you with them as they like take noisy sobbing slurps of their drinks. Cooper, whilst this is happening, like you're watching this room suddenly transform before your very eyes, you are aware of like a figure that kind of slides in alongside you, and as you look to your left, you see Elismira sort of like standing, like leaning against the table that you're at, watching Griffin, and you see her sort of like tinker with the kind of the jewelry that's over her two ears. They look like large earrings, but rather than hanging from her earlobes, they kind of extend up over her like ear holes. And like as she tinkers with it, she like raises her eyebrows, and he's got some skills with that instrument. And she looks at you.
I mean, I've been telling him, he shouldn't just stick to the street. He should go in and take over one of the taverns for the night, but you can't talk to the lad. He talks too much. You can't get a word in edgeways.
Elismira smiles, and one day, Cooper, you'll understand that people that keep talking are the best people to know. And as she sort of like locks eyes with you, she kind of places her hand on yours, pats the back of your hand a few times, and then seemingly sort of like catches herself and then slowly kind of retracts her hand to place it back on her own. So, what did he say?
Well, we need to find kind of an absconder, I guess. Someone's taken some money. We need to find him. If we find him, we get the passage. Do you know a Mad Karayan? Description would be nice. We weren't given one.
She ponders, and so I'll just pop this in chat for everyone. Elismira, like she does a little like huff laugh. Yeah, we all know Karayan. He's one of the older crew members. Perhaps he's been alive long enough that he's got a bit too much bravado bungled up in that small little brain of his. But he's usually reliable. It's so surprising that he sounds like he might be going AWOL. She gives you the description, and she effectively describes an older Lorivar, like sides of hair shaved and like the rest tied back in a knot, bit like a salt and pepper beard, kind of is relatively well maintained, fashion wise as a pirate. Mainly he does, whilst he enjoys, she explains, whilst he enjoys kind of being on the ships and sailing out to the Isles, he does take care of himself. He's a fetishist for trinkets. Like he loves his trinkets.
Is there anything else we should know about him? Like favorite drinking spots or friends he has that are people he'd go to if he was in trouble. If he's not meaning to go AWOL, maybe he's worried about something.
Well, I mean, that's just it, Coop. From what I understand of Mad Karayan, he's one of the fixtures here. Like everyone that he would know and confide in here in this tavern, she says, like gesturing around. He does like to stick to his routine, so he probably would have had a bit of a set route if he was collecting money from the various businesses. So perhaps just, in a way, following in his footsteps to see where he got to.
Do you know what that route is? Do you know where I can get a copy of it, or?
I know that he visits the stalls the market on the other side of Dawlishal. That's in South Upper Dawlishal. It's where all of the tourists pay far too much money for their little baubles.
Sure.
Here, there's a couple of dock hands at the waters that sometimes owe him a bit of money. There's a couple of dock hands at the waters and maybe over the dockside. There might be people that he's spoken to there. I wouldn't write off Shayla at the Sailor's Sanctum. She used to be one of these pirates, actually, and she might know a little bit. And as curious as it may seem, it might even be worth swinging into the mayor's office. Balroon understands the balance of power here in Dawlishal, so maybe she can help. If anything that she can do to make sure that the pirates aren't causing too much extra trouble, she'll probably be glad to help out with.
Sure. That's really helpful, thank you.
Elismira nods, and I just wanted to say, and I don't normally, but I enjoyed the other night. Perhaps we can it 3 times. And she gives you like a wink, and then she just sort of like peels as someone passes the two of you, and she just like peels away, flawlessly grabbing the drink from like the pirate next to you as she sort of like peels off to follow and start talking to this new person that's just wandered past.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, Cassandra, how close were you to that conversation?
I was about to ask, how close was I to that conversation?
Georgia, how close was Cassandra to that conversation?
I feel like she was close enough to hear. She was very diligently pretending not to hear. Not a muscle has moved on her face. She is absolutely unbothered.
Of course she is.
Of course.
On a scale of 1 to 10, you are unbothered.
Unbothered. Don't even worry about it.
Radiating
Don't
off
worry
you.
about it.
Just
like
a beacon of an absence of bother. Look at your barren fields of bother. That's very good. As clearly as there is there's no bother here to address. But it seems that you have some kind of vague directions that you could be heading in to try and find Mad Karayan. How do the 5 of you want to do this? You could split up. That's an option. You could kind of take a different area each and then convene after the fact. That'll help. Well, that'll help cover more ground more quickly. Mm-hmm. Unless you wanted to go in a big group.
I feel like splitting up is probably the better option if everyone agrees.
Like we check out here, you check out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Cooper will, if the decision is to split up, Cooper's going to go. Just so you know, I'm not sure the mayor's office is a place that this face should be seen. So whoever goes in whichever direction, perhaps I should avoid the more reputable establishments, and I might be better off elsewhere.
You know what? I think you should go there.
No.
I think really your powers of persuasion, Coop, would be much appreciated.
With the people who actually like me. Mayor don't think she likes me, which is fair. I don't really like her. This is how it is.
Well, tell you what, let's go left to right. Where is Abe searching?
I think he won't want to talk to the mayor because he doesn't like
I will
her.
say, Abe, sorry, begging pardon, as a local, there is one person who Alismira didn't mention that perhaps you might consider a valuable source of information, and that would be Merle, the gravekeeper over in the Cairns, which is the southeast corner of like Dawlishal, so basically on the hills, on the slopes of the mounds. There are a couple of caves. Well, they're cairns. It's where the few dead that have died since Dawlishal's been founded. Merle looks after, well, tends to their graves. He is as you understand it, he's one of the adherents of Varahan, the Soul Guide. But yeah, he loiters around the cairns. He kind of keeps himself to himself, just much like you. Sits on his own,
like a
puffing
perfect
pipes.
partnership. Yeah. I think Abe will just say to the group, right, I'm going to go check the graveyard, see if he's there, and I'll just check it on Merle.
Okay.
You never know, he might
so-
already be dead, so just have a look, you know?
Oh, that was the wrong explorer. Abe is going to the Cairns. Where's Cooper going? And you
I
can
feel like-
buddy up, by the way. Don't feel you
Yeah,
have to
I
go
think-
to 5 separate places.
I feel like Shayla is a good one. I feel like Cooper. I feel a lot more comfortable going to see her.
To see a
than,
beautiful
for
woman.
example, the
What
mayor.
a
Of
surprise.
course. What a
What a
surprise.
surprise.
So deeply surprised.
Is there a bit of a theme going on? Oh, anyways.
Got your number, mate. Got your number.
So unbothered by this.
Welcome to being a slutty dragon saint.
Learn from the best. Learn from the best. But yeah, I feel like also like unless Griffin actually wants to go anywhere specific, I think Cooper just automatically is like, "Come on, Griffin, let's go." Like,
I mean, I was going to say I could go with Gaddy, and then you and Cassandra can go together, and you can sort of, catch up.
let's
on all
go,
kinds of
Griffin.
things.
Let's
Oh,
go,
okay.
Griffin.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
Cass is just like burning a hole in the back of his head as he leaves. She's still got the gun.
Yeah. I'm just like, yeah. Me and Cass are already planning on going to a different place. That's somewhere else.
Just somewhere far away from here.
Docks, Cass, docks.
Well, you've got the docks, either the waters or Dockside, or you've got,
you've got the market stalls.
stalls.
Or the
mayor's
mayor.
office.
Or the mayor.
I've got a friend I
Or,
could ask
I
at the
mean,
docks.
it's definitely not a name that Alismira has recommended, but there's also Hastings Hall, Captain Faniel's place of residence.
Definitely not going there. Just saying.
I feel like Cass is happy to go and frankly bully anyone on this island to find this man. So she's quite happy to go in any order to the rest of the places. I mean, did you say that stalls are near the docks? Is that?
No, so they're
So the
just past the
opposite ends.
portals.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, if you're in the mood to fight, then maybe we go to like the mayor or Captain's Guard and see what we can get.
You said Gaddy knows someone at the docks.
That's all right. You should be able to find them anywhere.
Docks first, then we go to the mayor.
Okay. Do you want to go to Dockside, which is like the pirate docks, or do you want to go to the waters, which is the official docks, like the expedition docks?
What do you reckon, Dockside? See if the pirates have heard something about him.
Yeah, someone's got to have something they can tell us.
Yeah.
Come on, Gaddy.
Right.
Okay, so the two of you are going to Dockside. Wonderful. We will start then with the Cairns. So Abe, as you kind of wander down the east, like the main road that runs all the way through East Bay, out onto the fields, over the relatively uninspiring attempt at farming in the farmland of Little Prairie. They're more allotments really than actual any kind of degree of successful agricultural farming. But as you climb the slopes of the side of the mound in the southeast corner, you begin to hear this like very dissonant, like atonal whistling, like, and as you it gets louder as you climb, and then as you kind of peak the crest of this hill, you can see that you find where is he? Here he is. You find a little 3.5 foot tall tops Terran sprite. He's got this old haggard little hat on, like flat top hat. He's got a dark green cravat type, like necktie, that is part of his sort of like sacred vestments to Barahan, as a cleric, if you will, of Barahan. But he's just sort of like tied it around like a neckerchief. And there's a spade buried like in the ground a little way away, and Merle here appears to be stacking rocks. And he sort of like, he feels the heat leave his skin as your shadow looms over him. You, I mean, you are nearly 3 times his height. And he looks up to you, and it's odd watching his sort of like rock mutton chops, like his rock type mutton chops bristle slightly as he looks up to you, and he, here, step outside, you just made it cold.
What?
You bloody great oaf, you just stood in the sun, you're making it cold.
Well, my fault, I'm bigger than you, is it? It's not my fault, I was just coming to stand there, and I don't know what you were. I was coming over here trying to be polite, you know.
The Terran sprite like squints at you, and then there's this little this breaks out from under his moustache, his little pebbly moustache, and why have you been so long since you come here? You know, I've been wondering if you dare. Wondering if you fell off the mountain, fell in the sea, drowned.
What are you doing? You know, I don't like going through town these days, full of all these people all moving around, and I mind myself to myself. You know me, Merle. You know me.
Are you too bloody tall that there's no way of getting to that brain of yours? You don't even have to go through town. You can go round the edge. Look, he says, and waggles his finger at the mound. You can just walk round the edge.
Why don't you come around my mound then? Why you always you around my area?
No, it's too far. Too far.
You've got little legs.
Anyway, what do you want?
Maybe I just want to come see my mate Merle.
Oh, hello, he says. By the way, chat, if anyone needs an interpreter,
if anyone doesn't live in the West Country,
just shout. Yeah, hello. What can I do for you?
Well, you see, it's a long story. I kind of got in a bit of bother with some pirates. Oh, I know. Yeah, well, I didn't mean to. I had to go out to the island because I got some stuff to do out there. And then, you know what the harbour master's like. He's like, oh, don't do that. It's a bit windy. And I'm like, oh. But anyway, we're looking for a guy. He's called Mad Karayan?
Karayan?
Karayan, that's the one. I was like,
yeah. Roll me. You tell me how you're wanting to investigate this, and then we'll make a roll of
it. Strength.
I'm gonna bench press the answer out of him.
I mean, could I I'm not great. So Abe is going to go in his back pocket, and he's going to fill up an Abe-sized pipe,
Okay.
with some of his finest tobacco that he's bought from the pirates on a previous occasion. And he's going to offer some. He's going to. In front of
Is it a
Mel.
bubble pipe?
It's also a bubble pipe.
Okay.
And he's going to offer some to Merle in a kind of friendly gesture, and he would like to ease him into some information with the offer of some good smoking and some camaraderie.
It sounds like
It's gonna have to be.
it sounds like a presence.
It's gonna have to be presents.
Don't mind if I do, he says as he plots
It's
on
gonna be
your
like a
pipe weed.
bucket to him.
Yes.
He's gonna smoke his pipe. Come on then. It's a crit.
Yay!
Yes.
I was going to say, there's no advantage for a big pipe for Adrian.
Holy moly, you got a crit. Okay. So as you give him this pipe, and perhaps whatever is in this pipe calms his nerves somewhat.
Yeah, I would say so. It's a particularly fine herbal
Sure, concoction.
concoction.
A blend
But
designed for a man 6 times his size.
Exactly. It's also designed for a keeper, not a,
Yes.
a sprite.
Yes. Okay. So on a crit, he a critical success. I take down 3. Good gold. Good blimey. Merle just opens up like a breaking dam, and I won't subject myself or the viewers to it, but like he goes on a big old yammer, and like he takes a little bit of corralling to sort of get him back onto point, but he tells you that he did in fact see Mad Karayan, not more than like a few hours ago, like this morning. You saw him this morning. And interestingly, the thing I know, he didn't look well. He didn't look well. He looked a bit dicky.
Oh.
Yeah, he was wondering if he picked up a bug. He got a gammy tum from his last trip to the Isles, but yeah, he was just wondering if there was anything that I could do. And I said, no, you probably need to go speak to Shayla over at the Sanctum. But he said that he was trying to avoid all the townsfolk, and yeah, he just looked a little bit clammy, a little bit sweaty, a little bit green around the gills, which is strange to say for a pirate. But yeah, he kept on. He seemed really fidgety. He was playing with this. He had this like little necklacey on, and he was playing around with it quite a lot. And then yeah, I was going to offer him a little cup of tea, but then he said he had stuff to do, and then he swanned off back to town.
Right, so he's at the Sanctum. You think he's going that way?
Well, he said he had a job to do, and that he was going to push on. He was going to hit up the stalls and get. He said he never really tells me exactly what the jobs he's got on. So yeah, he was just heading over to the markets to get whatever he wants from the markets. But yeah, he just seemed a bit distracted. Just seemed a bit more fidgety than normal.
I tell you, between you and I, he's not on the good side of Boss Ungrinner, so I'd be a bit nervous as well if I was him.
Yeah, no, I mean, no one wants to piss off Boss Ungrin, especially with that metal jaw he's got.
Oh well, I tell you, no word of a lie, he ain't even got a metal jaw. He's got two glass eyes.
I swear he's 2 glass eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, I swear I've seen him wear it. Maybe it's a metal jaw. Maybe he swaps jaws.
What? He just gets a flesh one.
Yeah, maybe. You never know what these pirates are like.
Oh, you.
Anyway, right, you better bloody piss off. I've got more rocks to stack.
It's just high as a kite. Abe will take a pinch of his pipe tobacco and just kind of pop it in the front dungaree pocket of Merle.
Yeah.
As you have that later. Have that later. After your
Okay.
job. After you've done work in the day, I know what it's like. De-stress yourself.
So, as you make your way back to the town, a crit, I've just checked, is 3 successes on like our countdown clock thingy. So, congratulations, you have jumped us up to 3 already.
We have a countdown clock?
Yes, we do. It's a count up
no.
clock. It's supposed to be a countdown, but I'm doing a count up. So, Abe is heading back into town. Let us jump over to Gardy and Cass. So as we join you over in Dockside, and by comparison to the docks of the waters, the Dockside looks remarkably more kind of rough and ready. There's a lot more activity and busyness here because the pirates are still sailing out into the waters, but you notice that then some of the ships aren't heading directly for the Isles. Some of them sort of like going round. Perhaps they're looking to see if there are any coves that are more easily accessible under this large kind of purple storm that's ripping across the mainland. But yeah, as you're looking around, how's Cass doing? Like, how's she holding up after that little shameful display from Cooper in the parlay?
Oh, profoundly unbothered, Dan. So unbothered. Why? Who's Cooper? She doesn't even know a man of that name. She might be fiddling with the gun a little bit. I think she's also fiddling a little bit. She's got, I think Gaddy would have seen it before. Underneath her shirt, she's wearing a necklace with sort of a big blue jewel in it, and she's kind of playing with that as they walk. But no, profoundly unbothered.
I'd probably
Like,
ask you
everything
the exact
goes.
same question, like whether you're doing all right, and yeah, you're definitely absolutely fine.
Oh yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Gaddy. I'm fine.
I mean, you just murdered a man as well. Just, I don't know if that's like a normal thing here. Is that fine? I'm sorry if that's rude, but there was a
Gaddy.
wee murder.
We came to this island to get to that island over there, and frankly, at the moment, I don't see us getting off of this island onto that island, and that is my main responsibility. And personally, it should be your main responsibility too, as an adventurer.
You make a compelling point,
Mhm.
and there was probably no other way out of that situation. So, good.
Thank you for
Right.
agreeing with me.
I need a fish. Is there a fishmonger nearby, Dan, that I may purchase from a small bait fish?
There absolutely is. Well, it's a pirate, and it's a barrel of fish. A watertight barrel, and so they're literally fish in a barrel. And as you approach, there's a smaller figure already at this, already kind of perusing the barrel, and she catches your attention, Gardy, as she's probably. Oh no, no, that's a lie. She isn't the first Majani. The first Majani you saw that wasn't yourself has been murdered by the 8 of Our Lady you're with.
Also, deeply settling.
No, there is you notice a sort of like a young adult, like late teenage Majani girl also at this barrel. She's wearing like a lot of she's got layers, like a lot of layers of clothing. There's a lot of fur trim, and a lot of it kind of looks cobbled together. Many pockets, you notice. And as you approach, you notice a small creature emerges from inside her coat and like scampers round her neck onto her right shoulder, and this rat sort of like stands up and peers at you curiously, and then she just turns to look to you and, "Oh, sorry, he stares a little bit," she says.
Oh, I like your rat. What's his name?
She looks at you curiously and, we can't name them, she says.
Well, I mean, I do you have you asked him?
She looks at you curiously and, no, but I've been trying to train him, and he if I could talk to him, he still probably wouldn't listen to me. I've been trying to train him for a while, and it's hard. It's been harder than I expected it to be.
Oh, they can be like that, can't they? Do you want me to have a word?
She looks at you as if your crystal horn has just fallen off. But she sort of like the face she's pulling is if like, okay, I'll go along with it. Go on then.
Okay. Can I use nature's tongue?
Yes.
To have a chat with this rat, please.
Yes.
I must make
that
an
in the
instinct
chat.
roll. Hold on.
Roll for rat.
Instinct.
Okay.
It's it needs to be above a 12, I believe, to successfully chat to this rat with fear.
Okay, so you do successfully start talking to the rat. On a roll with fear, their knowledge might be limited or come at a cost. Cool. Okay, so what does your nature's tongue look like to the outsider?
I would say that there's kind of a green light mist that sort of pulses out of Guddy's horn down to his mouth and then forms a little translucent green rat in front of the rat that he's talking to. And while Gaddy himself isn't like talking, the little rat that he's generated is squeaking to the other rat.
Sure. In which case, the rat kind of like shuffles back and kind of partly hides, like dashes to this Majani girl's other shoulder and is now like peering at you from behind her head, as if it's somewhat scared or intimidated by this rat apparition that's just appeared in front of it. And you hear, "What's that?"
Well, sorry, it's just me. Just wanted to have a little chat if you got a sec.
The rat kind of tilts its head slightly and slowly begins walking forward. And wait, can you understand me?
Hey, of course I can.
Thank God, this girl is driving me insane, the rat says.
I see. One of these.
She keeps on thinking that she's training me up, and she's to say she's not good at it is an understatement. But she won't let me leave. Every time I try to flee, she catches me. She's like a cat. She's like a really tall, hairless cat.
Right, what's your name, fellow? I need to try and sort this situation out.
My name is, and we won't say it because we're going to let chat decide this rat's name.
Do it, chat.
So
Chat,
until a
chat,
name
chat.
has been decided, until a good enough name has emerged from chat, we will refer to Rat as Rat. I am the Rat.
That's a lovely name. I've never heard it before. Well, look, hold on, and I'll like push the little rat to my chest like it's a phone, and just be like, do you keep? What's your training method?
The girl looks to you, and I know that to train an animal, you just have to keep on making it do the thing until it does the thing on its own. And then when it does, then you feed it. And
Right, there are some nuances.
the rat looks to you and just shakes his head.
Oh, hold on. Rat, she's... Look, maybe if you play along for a bit, then she'll take her attention off you and you can get out. You can make a run for it.
The rat looks to you and I'm just so scared for my life, he says. I'm scared with the lengths that this girl will go to train me.
She does seem intimidating.
Just real quick, we'll do a quick group vote for Shred the Rat, Sheep the Rat, Ratagan the Rat, or Roland the Rat. What are we thinking?
Do you like
Who-
Roland?
I do like Roland.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I miss Roland. Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty bad.
Congratulations, Steve. You've populated an NPC in the Elsewhere world. Roland the Rat looks to you. I'm just terrified. I'm just absolutely terrified. What? Okay, maybe I can play along, and then she's got to fall asleep at some point, right? She's got to fall asleep. You Majani sleep, right? You sleep?
Well, sort of, eh?
Don't give me well. This is rat.
Look, Roland, we'll do what we can, okay? I'll get you out of this.
The girl looks to you, and it looks like the two of you are really getting on really well, judging by the squeaking and the fact that he hasn't tried to hide.
Yeah, I think it's just a knack, isn't it? Firstly, his name is Roland. It's actually... But Roland is close enough. Secondly, look, I can help you with this. This is a complicated situation that might need some talk sessions in the future. But for now, I'll give you a hand if you tell us anything you know about Mad Karayan. How about that? Eh?
The girl looks to you and what? Mad Karayan? Oh, I haven't seen him for a while, actually. She says, So if you're asking this, very much that straight up sounds like a presence check. Cass, is there anything you would like to do to help? If so, you just need to spend a hope and tell me how you're doing it.
Yeah, I'll help. I think Cass has been standing behind Gaddy this entire time, looking at him with great interest. But as the talk becomes sort of a language that she understands again, she transfers that look of burning curiosity to the girl.
I feel like that's not an easy thing to be under.
No, that's a look of a woman who demands answers.
Gaddy kind of looks at, as someone who's been under that fair bit, I'm going to look at her with quite a bit of pity.
Okay, so Georgia, if you spend a hope on your token in Foundry, and Tim, you can make a presence check with advantage, which would be an extra d6. So if you click on the advantage button, it'll roll that through for us.
My presence is not good. A fearful 11.
A fearful 11. Okay. So she looks to you, and I haven't seen Mad Karayan for a while. I know that he was going to gather funding from the businesses in town, but I haven't seen him for, well, it's been quite a while actually. Why, is everything okay?
Hey, we've heard that no one's seen him for a wee bit, so we just wanted to check up on him.
She like, the girl kind of pulls her face, and I'm sorry, I don't know where he is, but he's certainly not here. I can tell you that much, she says. So with that in mind, that is unfortunately a failure with fear.
No.
So I will get a fear token, and the clock does not tick up. Because, like, the girl suddenly seems distracted, as Roland the rat, perhaps in spite of your advice, attempts to make a valiant break for it.
Roland, no.
And sort of, like, while she's distracted, as she's distracted by you talking to her, this rat kind of, like, leaps off her shoulder, and there's like a drain that it seems to be aiming for, and like, she's distracted from the conversation with you as she feels this weight like leap off her shoulder, and then she turns, and with lightning fast reactions, she lunges forward and catches Roland midair, like around the belly. And then, "Oh, you fell off again," she says. "And don't worry, I'll keep you." And you watch as she just stuffs Roland, like,
I'm sorry, Roland,
into in a coat pocket. And you just hear, "No, let me be," as he disappears into her pocket. And she looks to you and, "Sorry, I should probably get away. It's probably the smell of the fish that's getting me excited. I hope you find him," she says, as the girl turns and leaves. And as this Majani girl wanders off, the two of you are left alone. Say, you haven't kind of been given any solid leads, but at least you know the guy's not in Dockside. And like, as you consider your choices, the silence is broken by the Lorivar woman that's standing on the other side of this fish barrel. And then this pirate leans forward and, "Were you just talking to a rat?"
Technically, aye.
She says. And like, she's suspicious, like, with looking at you with a degree of suspicion in her eyes, she puts a lid on the barrel of her fish and then, like, leans on it. It is as if to say, "Not for sale."
I wasn't going to talk to them, but I could.
So the other pirates that are kind of gathered here seem like they're particularly busy, but you have a good suspicion that your pirate is in another location.
Well, Cass, I think I'll leave this one up to you from here.
Well, as we leave the two of you, we will be swinging over to Griffin and Cooper next. I think, however, now is a good time as any to have a quick 10-minute break. So yes, we'll jump on a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 9:15. We'll pick up this investigation, see what Griffin and Cooper can unearth at the Sailor's Sanctum, and then see if we can find out what's up with old Mad Karayan. Cool. Thank you for watching so far. If you've been watching, if you're on YouTube, consider subscribing. If you're on Twitch, consider following. Say hello in chat. Whilst we let me think. Over the space of the chat, write you offer suggestions of rumors. Offer rumors of Mad Karayan. Why is Mad Karayan mad? Why? What did he do to earn him the Mad moniker? Give us your suggestions in chat, and then we'll see how many of those rumors are true. Cool. We will see you all in 10, 9:15. See you in a bit. Bye.
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 Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Explorers of Elsewhere, the Titan Isles. Hello, welcome. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. Since we started, we've just ticked over 700 subs. Woo! Hooray! Yeah, like amazing. Earlier, I just wanted to do another quick shout out to Steve for becoming a member earlier. Thank you very much, Steve. But also, I was reading in the chat, I was getting a bit confused because I didn't see an alert. But thank you to Craig, who's also who's become our second member. Thank you so much for giving real life money to us to do this. Eternally grateful. Right, we very recently left our explorers trying to find the location of a certain mad Karayan. And we asked you to generate some rumours. Lane took that personally, it would seem. So we have a catalogue to work through. Thank you, Lane. I'm 100% going to see how many of these I can cram into one poor character. One poor NPC. Anyway, we return then to the streets of Dawlishal, roughly in one of the busier areas of the town, the Sailor's Sanctum. So we rejoin Cooper and Griffin as you return to the somewhat like dilapidated looking kind of wooden shrine. It looks like what we would consider a church, but quite small, like a cabin almost. But inside, as you poke your heads in, inside you spy a Laravar woman with dark hair that kind of bobs just over her shoulders and just over her shoulders. She's wearing a kind of a gold circlet around her head of what appears to be like a sea kelp style. It's almost seaweed laurels, like a laurel wreath. Have we got a picture? Yes, we do. We'll pop that in chat so everyone can see who I'm talking about. That popped through. I don't know if that popped through. Pop that through again. There we go. There she is. And yeah, she's wearing a light sky blue dress with kind of white stripes down it that's held together with what appears to be kind of cleaned ship rope around her waist, and there's this kind of decorative mantle that she wears kind of over her like sternum and shoulders. And as you enter, she looks up to you and, "Oh, hello, darlings. How can I help?"
Hi, Shayla. How's business tonight? How's things going?
Yeah, it's going all right. It's just winding down for the day. It's been a bit it's been a bit mad because everyone's been asking me to ask Golden Angar to sort out these storms, but no, it's been a bit quiet.
Is he usually much more chatty?
I mean, chatty in so much as a god can be to someone praying, offering up prayer and worship, but usually there's this feeling, like this feeling of being noticed, of being understood. I don't know, it just feels a bit bereft. It's curious.
That must be really nice. Being understood, being noticed. And sort of Griffin just sort of goes off on, he just kind of goes, just sort of looking up into the sky, just kind of lost in his own little world about it all. Anyway, sorry. We're looking for someone. Apparently you might know something about them.
Oh, She looks to you curiously. Well, I presume you know where she looks to you. I presume you know where Elismira is. I saw you with her earlier.
Yep. Yep, I know where Asmira is. We're actually
Yeah,
looking for...
Cooper knows her really well. Really well.
Yes. Anyway. Mad Carayan. You seen him today? Recently?
Oh. She says, and as she goes to answer, time freezes. How are you approaching this? Is it is it just the ask? Is this a presence check?
Oh yeah, let me just double check my
And who's
anything I have on me.
doing the investigating?
I mean, I have +2 in presence. What's your stats like, Griff?
I've got a +3 in presence.
Yeah, so it's probably more sensible for you to do the roll.
Could I?
And
could
then
I
Cooper, you
spend
can
a-
help with a hope.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, can I spend a hope
Or use.
to spend an experience, because you use a hope when you do an experience.
Do you, Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you roll, or was
I
that
knew that.
always
I knew
there?
that.
What's a
always knew
revelation, eh?
I would like to use an experience of the What's Your Story friend, because we learned that they have like some sort of history together, her and Mad, in some sort of sense, that they worked together at some point in time. If that's okay with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I will come over here, mouse. There we go. So I will spend a hope.
So if you're spending a hope, that will give you +3. So I'll click your experience out into chat for everyone. What's your story, friend? And is Cooper spending a hope to help?
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
I just wanted. Actually, no, it's fine. Ignore it because I'm not leading this, so it's all good. So yeah, I'll spend a hope.
Sure. Okay, so if you spend the hope on your Foundry token, so Nate, you'll get advantage for the help, and then we'll just manually add 3 on when you roll.
Advantage. That is a 16 with fear. I would
16, so a 19 with fear.
A 19 with fear. Could I do something?
Maybe.
As my Asavar ancestry, I would like to use one of my ancestry abilities, which is adaptability. So when I guess I haven't failed it really, but I thought it was something if you rolled it with fear, but it says no if you fail a roll, which I'm guessing technically I haven't. So I'll leave it as is.
Yeah, it is a success with fear, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Okay, so I will gain a fear, if nothing else. I'm up to 6. I did see him, yeah. He didn't stop. There was a part of me that felt like maybe he was trying to avoid me, if anything. But he wasn't. He didn't seem. Yeah, he didn't seem like him. He didn't seem of sound mind. If he thought he was being discreet, he really, really wasn't. I saw him coming up from the south, and he was just like crashing into things and bumping into people, and every so often he was just stopping and sort of like crouching in the street, and he was chattering to himself like there was something. Like, well, I was wondering if he was drunk, but no, he didn't seem right in the head.
So more mad than usual.
Well, yeah. I mean, eating a barrel of gunpowder will do that to a man, but just he didn't seem mad. He seemed troubled.
Which
I tried
direction?
to. He went east towards the stalls. he I suppose now is around about the time he's supposed to be going around collecting the tithes for Ungriner, but yeah, he just his eyes they were sunken. He was sweating. He was struggling to walk in a straight line, and he looked like he was clutching at his throat.
Well, sounds like it's going to sound really stupid. It kind of sounds like he was poisoned or sick or something.
Maybe, but you'd have thought if someone got poisoned, then they'd be looking for help. I mean, I could help someone who's been poisoned, but he just blew straight past. Sorry, I can't help you more, but yeah, I definitely heard him heading that way, she says, and she points eastward down the Noble's Knot. A success with fear is 1 success on the success counter. You are up to 4.
Nice.
How many do we need? Or do we
An amount.
Is it a secret? An amount. Okay, cool. Good to know.
It is a
It's a
secret.
number.
To be fair, I am supposed to be counting down. So actually, I'll be kind. I'll actually call it a success countdown. So you are at 1. Success
Nice.
countdown 1. Started on 5.
Tidy.
So yes, Shayla excuses herself and sorry, unless there's anything else I need to get back to closing up for the night.
No, that's it. Thank you for your help. It's been really helpful.
She smiles and nods. As the two of you go to leave, she kind of reaches out and kind of grabs your shoulder, Cooper. Just be careful around Elismira. She's potentially more of a handful than most people can handle.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the advice. I am just here on holiday.
She smiles as you say that, and Renangar guides you, she says, and she excuses herself. As two of you emerge from the Sanctum back onto the long street that runs east to west across the town, called the Noble's Knot, you hear, as the fates would have it, coming up from a street from the south and coming in from a street from the east. So I said he went east, didn't I? I meant he went west towards the stalls. Yes, Gardy, Cass, and Abe kind of rendezvous with you outside the Sailor's Sanctum. And the 5 of you are together again.
I think Griffin is going to see Abe first, or hear him first, and then see him. And he's just going to sort of shout down the street, just kind of go, Abe! 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 Over here! Over here! We're over here! Abe! Abe! Over here! It's me! It's Griffin! Come on! Over here! Over here! We're here!
Abe, someone like a little goblin who stood next to you just nudges you in the thigh, and I think he's trying to get your attention, son.
Oi. It's just a single hand up.
He pats on Cooper's shoulder and said, "Found Abe."
Yep. I think we all found Abe. He's not hard to find.
As Abe just treads forward, he completely blanks Griffin and just says straight to Cooper, "Right, Did you find him? I was told he was going to the Sailor Sanctum and then going down Market.
Well, he's been here discreetly. He's now headed towards the stalls, apparently. And apparently he's kind of sick.
Oh, yeah, that's why I heard from Merle. He said he wasn't no doing go no good. I know what good.
Sure. Cooper understood that. Cooper's like, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Translator needed. Okay, cool.
He'll see Cass and Gardy heading down. Well, you bet you didn't find down Dockside, did you? You weren't going to be around there, were you?
Well, we found where he wasn't.
We might have got a little bit distracted by a rat.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
I like this lore.
Okay.
He's a man of layers.
Griffin, spend that experience. What's your story, friend? Tell me.
I guess that'll be like a 30 roll to hit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers you're going to peel down till you get the rat story.
You'll get it out of him. Yeah,
That's going to be like a dying breath episode 20 story, isn't it? In a real
Hey,
proper
tell
like,
us
why
about
is
the
Thor
rat?
crying kind of. So, the five Griffin, with you wondering what mysteries lie beneath these, lie within this behemoth of a keeper man that you're with, the five of you make your way down the Noble's Knot until you sort of like arrive in the. It's effectively like a large square. There's kind of buildings all the way around. There are a number of market stalls. So unlike other places in the like the more kind of residential parts of the town, the stalls are an almost all-night market to cater to the whims of tourists that are visiting, and the people that you're kind of rubbing shoulders with in these streets is decidedly more kind of eclectic and varied than throughout the rest of the town. You can see the visitors from presumably from Avonmore kind of mingling around. You can see people laughing, chatting. There are kind of restaurants, late night cafes. There are bazaars that are open, selling wares. You can hear the cries of kind of stall owners as they try to entice passing crowd over to their tables for trade. You can hear the hollers and jeers and cheers of Cooper, you immediately clock what appear to be pirate run street scams. So there's 3 Dragon Monty as this Oran sprite is sort of like follow the dragon statuette, like moving the cups around, and then you clock the point that the punter has already lost the money.
The punter is Gardy. I have just immediately lost a small quantity of money.
Sure.
Cat has to grab your hood to pull you, keep pulling you along.
In which case, yeah, absolutely, Gardy, you are lured in by this friendly-looking Oran sprite. She looks up to you with these kind of bright, gleaming eyes, and then she just tells you just have to find the statuette of Aya. And then as she's moving the cups around, Cooper, you notice the point where there's a small fishing line tied around her index finger. And as she lifts it from the top of the cup, which is pulling the statuette up, so when the cup is revealed, then there's nothing there. She can go, Paul, unfortunate, and then put the cup back down. But yes, Gardy, this is your first taste of tourism street scamming.
Come on, Cass. I nearly had it. I'll get the next one.
Sure you will.
All right.
As as you pull a begrudging Guardi away from the street scammer, who's really insistent, "I'm sure you'll get it this time," she says as she kind of racks up the cups again. You hear this voice cry out. Oh, sorry, you hear these sort of like raised voices nearby, and they sound a little agitated. And one of the voices, like that, they sound distinctly not Dawlishal. They sound like they're from somewhere else. But yeah, you hear this. You cannot set up your stall here. You're impeding on my territory, on my turf, on my grounds, on my sacred site. No, I don't care who you are. I don't care who's bankrolling you. You're not allowed to be here. And you spy a diminutive little blue-skinned Aquan sprite. He turns and regards you and the first thing you noticed, apart from his sort of like black and white salt and pepper hair, is the enormous moustache that clears the sides of his head, the sides of his face. He's wearing a cutesy little like white necktie, a pinstripe lime green blazer, and matching silky black shirt and trousers, paired with squeaky clean white shoes. And as he turns to you, and there's a flourish of his small cloak, he spies you, and see, this is the benefit of a sail spot as prominent as mine. You, sir, you right there, yes, you. Have you ever wanted to have hair? He says, pointing at you, Guardi. Well, I've got just the tonic for you. You'll look like him by the time you're finished, he says, pointing at you, Abe.
It seems biologically unlikely.
Well, that's the marvelous. That's you've never tried Sir Frosh von Quackley's wondrous hair tonic, have you? And he presents this like golden glass bottle with a kind of a diamond stamp on the front, and it's got a picture of his own face, and he's pulling the face that's in the picture.
And on that bottle is him going, and then on that bottle is
yeah. Apply this to your scalp 3 to 4 times a day, and within a few years you'll be as sweet as this young gentleman here, he says, kind of flapping a hand towards Abe.
Abe deflaps his hand.
Well, perhaps this one isn't for you. May I interest you? And he pulls out a bottle. It's identically shaped, but a different shade of yellow, with the same this stuff. Once upon a time, the scholars of the Avonmore libraries used these as floor polish, but I have now repurposed it to give your head that extra shine. If you wanted to see your own reflection in your crystal horn, well, perhaps this will do it for you. You should try Sir Frosh von Quackley's super shine, he says, gesture like thrusting it towards you, Guardi.
That's pretty impressive to see your own reflection in your own horn. To look at your own horn and see your reflection.
Exactly. This is guaranteed to work so well you'll be able to see round corners.
Cass?
You know what, Guardian?
We've lost Theo.
It has to happen at least once an episode. I get lost. It's fine. I'm all good. Cooper's trying desperately. He's like standing at the back, like covering his mouth. He's like not engaging because he will die. Yes.
You could do with a bit of a polish.
Oh.
Boy, I already had one last night.
Yes, for you and your next little rendezvous. Coop.
Anyway, I think we should move on, don't we? We don't need to indulge in these things.
Well, Coop, as you try to kind of pivot away from what you assume quite confidently is an A tier snake oil merchant in Sir Frosh von Quackley. You
Such a
spy the
trustworthy
two.
name.
Yeah, into the name Quackley.
They're on a long line of
Steve, yes, absolutely. Sir Frosh von Quackley was one of the characters created in our community challenge. he was. Yes. So yes, as Cooper, as you try to sort of like peel away from von Quackley and this this line of interrogation from this line of inquiry from Cassandra, you spy what appears to be the two individuals that Sir Frosh was kind of bickering with. And like in a partly set up stall, it's partly set up because it looks like Sir Frosh has, for all intents and purposes, like kicked a load of their stuff into their like designated pitch area. As if they've started to like roll out this large kind of rug and put their things in. He's just like pancake tossed it all away, so he doesn't encroach on his turf. But in almost matching pink fuchsia clothing, you see two curious goblins. Two curious goblins. To look at them, you immediately spy the rather large, extravagant-looking rings on their left ring fingers. So you surmise that perhaps these two are a married couple. He stands slightly taller than her. He's surprisingly well built for a goblin, with a frankly impressive tuft of chest hair emerging from the low plunging tunic that he's got underneath his the shirt, so undershirt underneath this fuchsia tunic he's wearing, and he also has a well-groomed kind of curling moustache. It's not as extravagant as Sir Frosh von Quackley's, but it still looks like there's a lot of care and attention that's been put into it. And stood next to him, who you assume is this goblin's the wife, she's wearing this very kind of loud pink shirt with white heart motifs, like a white heart design, and she appears to be sort of like wringing her hands, looking at the stall and wondering what she looks up and I don't know how we're going to fit it all in there, she says. She wrings her hand and he's kind of just making kind of grunt noises and worried panic noises, and then she looks up to you, Coop, and like her eyes open wide and her big round cheeks kind of raise up as she breaks into this perfectly executed smile. And oh my, a customer, she says, as she scurries on over to you and she grabs your hand. Thank you for your patronage, thank you for your interest, she says, and she is almost dragging you over to the stall. Canlo, we've got a customer.
Hi.
Canlo, the as you understand the man to be called, turns around and we have a customer, and welcome to our store, welcome to our emporium, welcome to our bazaar. Thank you for visiting. You these are your friends. Yes, please come over, please come visit Canlo. Please come and visit Canlo and Tuka's emporium, part of the magnificent, the marvelous, the wondrous Van Consortium. And Cooper, you, with your syndicate history, you have heard the name Van before. you understand this Varn. You've heard tales of this goblin criminal mastermind who has been gracing the streets of Avonmore for about a year or so. You heard that there are tales of Varn surviving the horrors of a city that was cast into the void, and having single-handedly brought back this city from the void to rejoin the rediscovered world. Musto Varn has established this city-spanning consortium of traders and merchants, taking his cutthroat business technique and applying it to a legitimate and absolutely legitimate, absolutely legal business franchise opportunity, where other aspiring merchants such as Canlo and Tuka here, to allow them to achieve the fame, glory, and wealth of Musto Varn himself.
Oh no.
If he turns up with a little handkerchief on his head and like his little wife beater on, I'm leaving the channel.
But yes, Canlo sort of looks to you, and I apologize. We are still setting up our store somewhat. There appear to be a few disputes with some unfriendly neighbors, but please, if there anything that you can wish for, we can cater for. We have many fingers and many pies, and we can get you anything that you want. We can get you anything that you want, and I assure you that all of the stock that we have is completely legal and above board.
Sure.
That's what everyone says.
Whenever I go
When
to any
something
shop,
is
they say
totally
it's absolutely legal.
Yes.
Actually,
Anything that your heart can desire. Zero crime guarantee.
So reassuring.
great. I actually have a question. Have you seen this pirate? And he'll describe Mad Karayan to the couple and be like, have you by any chance seen him running around, or maybe falling about? Apparently he's not been feeling very well. Anyone who fits the description, or maybe that's someone who seems sick, or maybe a bit drunk. Like, if someone you've noticed anything odd, could be helpful to us.
This sounds like a presence check, Coop.
Yes.
Would
I'm wondering.
anyone like to help Coop?
I'm wondering, as part of the Slyborn community, I have advantage on rolls to negotiate with criminals, detect lies, or find a place to hide. Technically, I know they're saying they're not criminals, but they are part of an MLM, so they probably are criminals. Can I use my advantage on my roll in this case?
I have
or not?
no idea, Theo, why you would assume that Canlo and Tukla here are part of some sort of criminal organization. They have assured you that this is completely legal and above board. There are no jurisdictions that have been overstepped. There are no boundaries that have been crossed. Everything is completely by the book.
Sure.
It would seem that Cassandra is blowing them up. Is that?
Just want to double check my power to explode.
So sorry.
That's right. We'll put those away.
Roll
You
to
can't kill
explode.
these NPCs straight away.
She's getting so impatient.
We can't get through an episode without killing someone.
So Coop, if you want to use community, you have advantage on rolls. Okay, I will allow you to roll with advantage, but perhaps the hope or fear outcome may slightly dictate how they respond to your somewhat the undercurrent of suspicion that might
Sure,
be laced,
sure.
the innuendo that laces your words.
Sure. So
You can absolutely ask him.
I roll with advantage. So let's presence with advantage. 19 with hope. Seems pretty good.
19.
As a
with-
fellow criminal, I'm not saying that what they're doing is wrong. I'm saying, like, as a fellow criminal, help me out here, buds. I'm not going to tell anyone about your little scheme. I'm just here to get answers.
So you start your line of inquiry, and it's clear that you're like you're being kind of syndicate-y, and like the smile on Tukla's face, she's just had this like proper like local shop, local people kind of smile, and like as you are talking, her smile is becoming more and more strained as she tries to push it further and further up onto her cheeks, and her eyes get smaller and smaller. And as you finish your questioning, Canlo just like he's grinning at you as well, but his eyes have just been getting wider as you've been talking, and then I have no idea why you would think that we would know such that we are a reputable business. And Canlo assaults you with this very loud, very well practiced like speech about how above board and legal everything is, to the point where like a lot of us, perhaps thankfully, that passing trade is mainly being preoccupied by Sir Frosh next door. But as Canlo loudly proclaims his innocence, like their innocence, you hear from behind you, I think I saw someone like that. And you turn to see this kind of, for keeper size, relatively small keeper. Perhaps only kind of 6 3/4 feet tall, rather than like a standard 8. Absolutely teeny by comparison to Abe, and stood nearby is, where is she? There she is. Is this keeper with these long, slender horns? One of them is snapped off about 2/3 of the way up. She's wearing kind of very plain clothes. She's got this enormous backpack on her back with all sorts of things, like all sorts of kind of for sale items hanging from it. You can see like a water gourd. You can see like a cutlass poking out, and most notably, she has this. Her right hand is a wooden prosthetic, but as you turn to look at her, she's gesturing with it and it moves almost as naturally as her left hand. Yeah, I think I've heard. I've seen someone who matches that description. She says.
Oh, when? Recently? Like last hour? Last half an hour?
She nods and he came barreling in and he bumped into me and he didn't look well. He looked fevered, so I took him over to a quiet corner. It was only about 5-10 minutes ago, but he should still be there. He didn't look like he was in a good position to go anywhere.
Oh, you can show us where that is.
My apologies. I realise I've butted in. My name's Clearwaters Run South, but my friends just call me Clear.
Thank you, Claire. If you could show us where this poor gentleman is, we'd really appreciate it.
She nods Absolutely, she says, and she guides the five of you to the other side of the stalls, away from, like, as you go, you can hear Canlo like still proclaiming the purity of the legitimacy of his business, like as it dies down as you walk away. Claire leads you to what is effectively like a little kind of street cafe. It's closed up this one's kind of closed up for the night, but there are a few sort of like tables with parasols, like table chairs, parasols outside, and as she looks around, I thought he was here. On a success with hope, you have successfully completed the countdown clock. He was just here, she said as she looks around. And who's got the highest? What's everyone's present instinct checks?
1.
Win.
3.
Instinct. 2.
Okay, so Gardy, it's like you're being the most perceptive of the group. Clear Waters is just kind of looking around, wondering where this man is that bumped into her, and like she's looking around, and so like from around a corner, just round the corner down a dark kind of street, a dark alley, you hear something kind of clatter to the floor, Gardy, and as you peer around, you can see that squatting, crouched between these two bins, for all intents and purposes, there is a figure that's squatting down on the ground, arms pulled into the chest, and the figure is just sort of like rocking on the balls of his feet, and he's just muttering and whispering to himself. And from Cooper's description, this looks like the man you're looking for. What do you do?
So let's see. Guys, come quick! And I'll run over to our boy. How's he looking, like physically?
As you run over to him, do you interact with him, or are you just kind of peering at him?
Yeah, I probably will be. Like, your name's Karayan, is that right?
Whispering and muttering stops. The rocking stops. And he's crouched with his back to you. And he freezes in spot. And then his head turns. And you see his face in profile. At a startling speed, Karayan leaps to his feet, and kind of stands in front of you, swaying heavily as he kind of turns to regard you. And seeing the face of this man head on, you can see that his eyes are rolling into the back of his head. His fingers twist and kind of twist at awkward angles at different interactions as he twitches slightly, and he begins his muttering. And he stops, his eyes turn to look to you, and he releases a and launches himself at you. Oh, hang on. Oh, hold. I think I've just collapsed a lung. He lets out this unearthly scream and then launches himself at you, Gardy, and like barges you to the side. And the other four of you watch as Mad Karayan sprints out of the alleyway that Gaddy's just kind of gone down, but his head is lolling back as if it's not actually in control of his body, and it's just flapping uselessly in the winds. The legs are moving like pistons, but the arms are flailing wildly as he bursts through the five of you into the streets.
Can I attempt to catch him?
You can, and what we will do is moment, please.
One moment.
No moment.
One moment, please. I thought I had this prepped, but I've not. This is live.
We have rope in our various bags, I believe.
I've got arms like tree trunks.
It's also true, yes. Abe is enough. Can't pick up that man.
I can just, just hold him like this on the way back to the pirates. So.
Put him in armchair.
So, and as he like emerges from the alleyway, he sort of like starts to charge through the remaining four of you. But it looks like he's just like he's sprinting at an unnatural speed. So I'm going to start a new countdown clock as you attempt to catch him. Like capture him. So yeah, Abe, as he goes past you, you can absolutely like what are you rolling to attempt to grab him?
Raw strength. Just gonna bear hug that fella.
Okay. So as he bursts past you, please roll me a strength check.
It's a 18 with fear.
18 with fear. Okay, so success countdown. So I will gain a fear. So you grab hold of him as he goes to barrel past you. And as you do, you can feel like there is an unnatural strength coursing through the body of this Lorivar man in front of you. Like his eyes are once again rolling into the back of his head, but you get the feeling that he's not running blind, but he seems to be running with purpose. You grab him for a moment, that reduces it. That's a success, so we'll count you down to 5. And then as you kind of hold him tightly, you feel something sharp stab into sort of like the insides of like your biceps and your chest, almost as if like spikes have just emerged from his body to like impale you slightly. It's not hard enough to like do damage, but it is enough that makes you kind of release your grip, and he tumbles out and the moment he's free, his legs just immediately begin running him further off into the stalls. You watch as he barrels into some sort of like patrons of a market stall, knocks the two of them over the stall and kind of crashes straight through it, seemingly with no mind of their presence. Who's next up? Who wants to, like, as he makes a dash trip, who wants to go next?
How far away is he? Sorry, Georgia, did you want to go?
I was going to do my teleportation spell to try and latch onto him as he runs. But if you have a better...
I mean, I've got something that you could probably do teleport afterwards.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I was just asking, how far away is he? Would you say he's in far range?
He is definitely within far range. Yeah. So like, there's not all that much distance between you and him currently. There are like other people around. Say there's a commotion as he barrels these two shoppers into like through a stall. And so there's this like trench that's being left behind him as he just sort of like runs. If we're all au fait with like how the smaller like Titans from Attack on Titan run, where just like arms and head flail, he's kind of running in that kind of manner. But it's definitely within far.
Cool. In that case,
thank you, Steve, for subbing in return for me wrecking vocal cords.
In that case, could I cast Mystic Tether to try and restrain him?
You can.
It is a spell cast roll, so it will be
Okay.
roll plus 3. That is a 24 plus hope for hope.
24 with hope. Okay, so what does the tether do?
So it will.
Oh, it's temporarily restrained. Okay.
Temporary restrains, and the target has to mark a stress. If the target is a flying creature, then the
So
spell
Karayan
grounds them.
marks a stress.
Yeah.
Okay. Describe to me what this looks like as the tether kind of whips out. And say that there is this kind of funnel of emptiness behind him as he tears his way through the crowd, that allows you to just kind of bead this tether directly into his back. What does it look like?
So Griffin has his concertina on him that he sort of majority holds a lot of the time, where he's sort of pedaling up and down on the keys when he's not talking to anyone or he's not doing much. He's got something to do with his fingers, and he literally just sort of lets out this one huge chord with it as this sort of red sort of shoot just comes, like red kind of like mystic rope sort of shoots out from the middle of it and sort of grabs him like a rope.
Okay. So in which case as the cords kind of wrap round him, Karayan just like his limbs come into his waist and he just crashes to the ground. Like there's no regard for like self-preservation. Like the guy fundamentally eats shit as he crashes into the ground, and you're pretty sure from where you're stood, you hear the upsettingly sickening sound of his teeth breaking as they crash into the stone pavement. But on the floor, he is still thrashing and raging. Well, not raging. He's not even raging. That's the weird, unnerving bit. Is he's thrashing wildly. Yeah, he is currently kind of bound on the ground, not able to do all that much. Who wants to?
Griffin's got his concertina and he's just sort of
sorry.
doing this, kind of going like, "Guys, help!"
I imagine, yeah, it's a little bit Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Like you're desperately trying to keep him bound. Sorry, a success with hope is 2 on the success countdown, so you are down to 3. So whilst he's restrained, he does not look like he's ignore that. Whilst he's restrained, it looks like he's still got a lot of pep in his step.
Cass will look at Cooper. And she'll say, "Do you want to help?"
Yes, of course I want to help. I was just going to shoot him, but this is better. What?
Okay, and she'll grab his arm, and she will count that as a willing participant, and she will cast Blink Out. So head over to this prone man.
Okay. So as you teleport over to the prone man, you materialize either side of him. So you'll need to spend 2 hope to carry the 2 of you over.
Yep.
What's like Karayan is, let's say, he's writhing around on the ground. As you get close to him, he's on his front, and as you appear, he manages to horrendously, he, for all intents and purposes, stands up whilst his kind of arms are still bound to his side, and then he's face down, and then he just kind of rotates up across the balls of his feet to then slam back. His head cracks against the pavement stone as he falls onto his back. He does a full 180 on an axis that you were not expecting someone to rotate on. And you can't see any of his kind of pupils. They're rolled so far up into his head. But his mouth is this bloodied mess, as from his cracked teeth, and he's still sort of muttering, kind of whispering to himself. And as you approach, you see what appears to be something moving under his clothing. What are the two of you doing?
With the movement of the teleportation, as Cass kind of grabs Cooper, she's just gonna fling him bodily at this man.
Sure.
She wages up the two of them. He probably weighs more and is probably a better battering option.
Sure.
So she's just
use me as a meat shield. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
She's
fine.
just throwing him at this thing. She
Like old times, then. Great for that. I get thrown at this man. I think Cooper was his original plan was, if I get close enough, I'll take out my rope and I'll tie him up. So in the spell,
You're still close enough to tie him up.
Oh no! But now he's falling towards him.
Yeah.
I think I feel like he comes out of teleportation, he has to stagger to stop himself from getting too close, and it's as that happens he sees them moving around. So he gets concerned, so he draws his dagger, and he's like, "Can how long is this spell gonna last, Griffin?"
I mean, I don't know. It depends how much he wriggles.
Okay, great. I want to see. Can I is there something I can do to ascertain if I can figure out if whatever's moving is under the tether, or is it going to come out of the tether? And how do you see what I mean? I feel like Cooper's ready to attack if something attacks him. Like in D&D, you'd ready an action if something comes out. That's what I'm trying to kind of do, but also
I think this is still important enough that you might need to give me an instinct check to see if you can, because with his thrashing, and then you're trying to see, there's something moving under his clothing, but you're trying to pass its pathing.
Sure. Checking if I have anything there. I do not. Let's just let's just raw dog this instinct check. Let's go. Normal instinct check. That's a 15 with hope, so hopefully that's a good one, hopefully.
A 15 with hope.
With hope.
That is, so total up your hope. That is a success with hope. So you drop the success count down. Oh my god, I've done it again. You drop your success count down to 1 left. You get a close look, and you realize it's when his head rotates, and you can hear an almost a painful sounding crack as his neck rotates back too far, that it exposes what appears to be this necklace around his neck. The necklace is the one thing on his body that looks a little bit out of place, and it appears to be a collection of 3 claw-like, what look like claws carved from wood. But they gain your attention because you've noticed that the tips of the claw that are normally hanging down appear to have pierced into his flesh, and what you would describe as like movements moving under his skin, like vines or branches growing through the man. And you can see that there are movements along his arms towards his palms, like across, like some are starting to push up his neck towards his skull, and others are pushing kind of downwards, like down through his torso. But it looks, the tether looks like, well, you are able to make a judgment call that it looks like these vines, these branches, whatever they are about to erupt from him.
Okay.
And Cooper, with a successful insight, you're able to kind of like step back just in time as from his sort of like chest area, 2 branch-like vines burst out of his chest in a V, and they fly like this crowd begins to scream as these vines whip up and latch onto the rooftops of the area that you're in. And I'm going to, after your roll, I'm going to spend a fear twice to activate him to clear the status, and then to, like, the vines latch on, and Griffin, you're yanked forward slightly as these vines lift him, like catapult him from the floor onto a rooftop of one of the nearby stalls. And as he lands with a crumple, Griffin, he falls just out of line of sight that the spell kind of breaks. And as he stands up, you watch as more of these, and like on the rooftop in clear view of everyone, you see these other kind of branches and vines begin to emerge from his flesh. What's Gardy doing?
I'll be honest with
so
you,
this
Dan.
is-
The things I had prepared hadn't taken into account him turning into a tree man. So
You mean you didn't prepare tree flesh man? Flesh.
That was your first mistake.
Tree.
For the record, Cooper is swearing profusely. Like, he is like,
Yes.
not. That's not exactly. He was close enough to see the bloody vines, man. It's not a tree, so
yeah,
Engraved
He's
in
got
his mind now.
yeah.
How
So I should
how high up
say
is this guy
that.
now?
So he's only about, I say only, like he's about 20 feet above ground level. But Dawlishal is kind of one of those towns where is very similar to Assassin's Creed, that like every rooftop is accessible by handily placed objects like boxes, tarps, gutters. So if you would 100% be able to get up onto the roofs if you wanted to continue chasing, because he's like, there's just the sounds of flesh puncturing as these kind of vines and branches erupt from Karayan.
Cool. Okay, neat. Just double checking the stat quickly. Interesting. Right. So I think out of the alleyway that Gardy was pushed into comes sprinting a mighty llama. I will take the form of what are they called? What are you called? A mighty strider. It's a
Okay.
big llama. So I'm gonna.
When you turn into a llama, do you still have a horn on your head?
Yes,
So we know
absolutely, I
it's
do.
you.
Oh,
Nice.
That's now a thing of all my animal forms.
Okay,
Thank you.
so what I can do real quick for you is if I tick these boxes here and then hey!
Incredible, thank you.
We will turn this into a horned llama later on.
I will trot up next to Abe and just like nudge him to get on.
How big are you? He's 8. How big a llama are
I'm
you?
a mighty strider.
He's a. Are you mighty?
Yeah.
A mighty llama.
Might be.
Able.
There's room for two. There's room for two on this boy.
It's true.
Abe's never seen something that he can ride, so he is
Oh.
absolutely getting on top of that.
Amazing. All
Are
I
right.
need
you-
help. I guess everyone else is much smaller, so I mean, does anyone else need a leg up? Because I can.
Yeah. Is anyone
full
else
on.
in? I guess Coop and Cass have just been getting up in his business.
Yeah, we're
Is
already.
Griffin
So,
still hanging?
I mean,
Is Griffin
Griffin,
still
do you-
hanging
Griffin,
from
do you wanna-
nothingness?
Now I'm on the floor now. The spell's worn off. So
Oh.
All right. I'll
Think
scoop
Abe-
you up with
Abe-
my I'll
In a
scoop you up
boost.
my teeth.
Okay. Yeah. Throw him on.
Just chuck you on, and we're all going.
Okay.
We're off.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to chase
Are
after him.
you attempting to get to roof level as a mighty horned llama, or are you just sort of like sticking to
mountain
street
climbing.
level, just within line of sight?
Let's do it. Let's get up there.
Yeah. They can climb mountains. They can climb some roofs.
Okay, I would require. I think this has to be an agility check, right? That's to leap, sprint,
Sick.
and maneuver. Yes, can I please have a mighty strider agility check? So you
Amazing.
might have to roll this. If you roll
As
your
a
agility
mighty strider.
macro, Tim, and then we'll figure out.
Sounds good. I get advantage on leap and sprint as a mighty strider.
Nice.
Leap, navigate, and sprint. Oh my! Of course you do. Of course you do. With one graceful jump.
Is it +1 on my base or plus
okay, so yeah,
one on what I already have?
Well, I think it's +1 agility for being a mighty strider, but if you
Plus
roll
one
an agility
type.
roll from your action bar with advantage, and then we'll add +1 if need be.
Sweet. Oh, ho, ho.
So yeah,
Just one leap.
Here we go.
so
You
that's a
fly.
30 with hope.
Flying.
A 30 with hope. Okay, so mark yourself up a hope. And as Abe, how does it, Abe and Griffin, to be fair, how does it feel to be on the back of a mighty horned llama that, for all intents and purposes, has just vaulted a clear 20 feet onto the roof of a building with the two of you on its back?
I think Abe is like trying. Well, he's like, it's like a sort of magnificent moment, but then the thought that it's actually not, it's actually Gaddy, sort of dampens that for him. 'Cause it's
Yeah,
just-
you're
it
sitting
gets
on a man
bit
you just
weird.
met.
Yeah, so he's just kind of like, oh, Rio. It's kind of it's just a great, but also, and then he can feel Griffin's arms
just
start
like-
to come round his waist.
A little squeeze around the top.
You just see his little face like look up at you. He sees the smile just sort of like tinily appearing. He's like,
So it's kind of like a great moment for Abe as he's just like, oh, this is amazing, and then he realizes he's riding a man he just met and being spooned by a man he just met. And it's all like, this is the most physical touch he's probably had in about 20 years. So
Is he having
it's-
flashbacks to the earlier conversation at the table? And he realised just what group he was in.
like, what is going on?
Okay. Well, so as the three of you vault up onto the rooftop, so I'm kind of picturing that the rooftops of Dawlishal are a little bit sort of like Mediterranean, so like flat tops, with pathways randomly between the buildings. So there's like a whole second street level almost of rooftops. But as you vault up onto level ground with Karayan, the three of you watch as like Karayan staggers a few steps, but like the limbs don't seem like the legs don't seem to be behaving as much anymore. And then the three of you watch as, with one final sickening crunch, his head flips all the way back and then hangs limp. And from his wrists, from his shoulders, from his chest, from his knees, like branches begin to burst out. And from the points of escape of these branches, his skin begins to harden and darken until his skin becomes bark-like. And then with a slow at first creaking, Karayan turns to regard you, but not, his head not kind of really looking in your direction as it hangs limply behind him. But then the limbs begin to crack as they seemingly kind of figure out how to move once again. And from these branches, what appear to be small, like flower buds, begin to, like at a speed that is definitely unnatural. And Garda, you know, as a druid, definitely unnatural. These flower buds begin to grow from the tree, from the branches, and then as they grow, blossom, they then fall off and like scatter to the ground like overly like melon-sized spores, until they begin twitching. Vines begin emerging, and from these flower buds, vines begin to emerge, and as they lift themselves up off of the ground, and there's at least 20 of these buds that fall from Karayan's now transformed body. And the head slowly begins to crest forward, seemingly propped up by a branch that's actively growing and emerging from his shoulder blades. And with two glowing emerald eyes, Karayan looks to you, surrounded by these now mobile flower pod spores. And as he lets out another, you'll call it there.
Oh no.
We've got to fight flowers.
I don't like the man, Dan.
Congratulations, everyone, on completing episode 2. You found... Oh, wait, I've broken it. You found him! You found him!
Just got to tie him up, take him back.
Yeah, did he say dead or alive? Or
he said alive.
I'm not clear on what the status is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's alive anymore.
Planks or...
And the necklace,
a lovely
that's
bunch of
probably
flowers.
alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes. Mystery abounds. Yeah, you have found Mad Karayan. He seems different to what people have explained him to be like. But yeah, we will find out what happens next in our next episode next week, same time, Monday, 7:30 p.m. Yeah, congratulations, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, you five, for playing. I'm just going to very, very quickly rattle through some of the announcements for those of you who joined us for the second half. Hello. Just in case you missed it, lots of stuff that's been happening recently that I would like to bring to your attention. Happy Pride Month. Happy, yeah, everyone who's celebrating Pride Month. Hooray. Go you. We are all proudly... wearing our flags here in support of everyone. Thank you, everyone who's joined us over the past couple of weeks. We've had a massive growth spurt since the start of campaign 3, so thank you so much for tagging along. Because we've had so many of you joining in and watching, we now have memberships on YouTube. We've got 2 members from this episode. Thank you to Steve, thank you to Craig for joining us. We will also be launching a Patreon in the very near future. The plan as it currently stands is to have a Discord set up for members by next session. So by session 3 we should have a Discord. In that Discord, members and Patreons will have access to like exclusive content, early content, just have an opportunity to get to know us and the other explorers a bit better. I'll be releasing a video to explain what members will be getting exactly very soon, so keep an eye out for that. If you are enjoying what we're doing here with the Daggerheart rule set, then you can use our affiliate link in the description to buy the Daggerheart rules from RPG, or any rules for that matter. It doesn't cost you any extra, but it gives us a little bit of a kickback, which is massively helpful. We've run over a dozen different rule sets. They're all available to buy from RPG. So yeah, if you're enjoying Daggerheart, absolutely give it a go. And yeah, pick up the digital rules. And last but not least, we have been nominated as finalists for the 2025 Crit Awards, which is an annual competition that celebrates TTRPG community in general and the amazing things that we all collectively do. So you can find the voting is now open for the for the awards. You can find the voting form in the description down below as well. We are up for Best Games Master for Darrington Press, alongside 3 other amazing shows. Yeah, give it a look, see who you want to support, and then kind of go from there.
I guess also if we've had new subscribers, like if you're enjoying this and you enjoy what all of us do, especially what Dan does, like we've got like a massive back catalogue of everything. Obviously there's like, this is the 3rd in the campaign of Elsewhere, so there's the 1st campaign, there's the 2nd campaign, and there's also our first foray into Daggerheart when we were going through the beta testing, so definitely check those out if you want some more.
Yes, absolutely. We've run, as Nate said, this is the 3rd campaign in the Elsewhere setting, 4th if you count Tales, which you probably should. But yeah, pretty much they've all been different.
We really should.
Yes, different flavors.
I was in that one. We really should.
So yes, we've done D&D campaign, we've done Blazing in the Dark campaign, this is our Daggerheart campaign. Loads of stuff. And if you do treat it, the campaigns aren't all that long, they're all 20 episodes long, so relatively easy to catch up with. But if you do work your way through, then there's gonna be NPCs and themes and characters that you might recognize from previous episodes. So for any of you that picked up on the Varn Consortium, I know Nate did, it will make a hell of a lot more sense.
Bloody musto.
So thank you once again for watching. Thank you, you 5, for playing. We'll see you next week for episode 3.
Bye.
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 Thanks, everybody. Bye.